Last men's sprint of the Olympics. Americans are here in force for the much anticipated event. Getting ready for his 1,000-meter race, Dan Jansen, now or never for an Olympic medal. Will it be the Dan Jansen that clocked the world's best time in practice last week? Or the Dan Jansen who falters when faced with 5 Olympic rings? And you know that Robin is hoping for a better result this time around, as is the rest of the Jansen family.
Dan is one of the skaters who has really a lot of sprint in his legs. He might not have the endurance that we'll see in some of the other skaters. So if he wants to win this, what he's got to do is skate a fast 200, a fast 600, and try to hang on over the last 400.
He'll start from the outer. On the inner is Junichi Inoue of Japan, who was 6th in the 500 meters and has the 3rd fastest time this season. In any event, there's nothing America would like to see more than an Olympic medal for that man.
Ready.
Both these skaters are technically very good. They should get off and probably have one of the fastest 200-meter split times. And if Jansen wants to win this, he has to have one of the fastest 600-meter split times. Looks very good going around that corner, up to speed.
He should be under 17 seconds to really have a shot in this race. And he is. Jansen at 16:71, and he is ahead of Jelozowski's lead.
Ahead right now, he looks comfortable in the corners, sitting low, getting a lot out of each stroke. A little bit of a slip there, but it didn't cost too much. Now he gets a chance to sit on his pair down that back stretch, get a good draft off. Now you have to set up that turn, set it up well.
And we're looking for a time at the 600-meter split of 43.9 or better. Jansen skating well despite that slip. He's on the inner right now. And Dan Jansen at 43.28, 0.6 of a second ahead of Jelozowski. And there he goes. He'll have the final outer.
26.5 on that last lap. But you can see he's starting to tire. A little bit of slip as he left that turn. Now he's got to sit back, look down that straightaway, swing that arm up in front of him, try to get as much glide out of each stroke as he can.
If he is 1st or 2nd, he would have a great chance for a medal. 3rd, it may not be that good. And here he comes. Dan Jansen looks good to be in the lead. Here is Dan Jansen, and he crosses it. 1:12.43, and he's in 1st place. And Dan Jansen's Olympic ordeal may finally be over. And it is a world record. Dan Jansen in 1st place with a world record. And what do you know? It came down to the wire in his last chance, hugged by his coach, Peter Miller. It came down to the very end. Harry Jansen. And what a difference a couple of days make, Eric Heiden.
Oh, what an amazing race by Jansen. So much pressure on him. His whole career stemmed on this 1,000 meters. 1 minute and 12 seconds. Make or break his career. He's known as one of the best sprinters. He's had problems at the Olympics. You can see today he had it all together. Great race for Dan Jansen under a lot of pressure.
And you have to remember that this was not the race that he was the undisputed favorite as he was in the 500. It was thought that if he had won the 500, the pressure would be off in this race. But because he did not finish and finished in 8th place, he was left with a lot of pressure here. There can be no measuring the joy inside that man or the joy of the Jansen family.
This is Dan's 1st slip. He's on the outer turn. Technically, he's very good in those corners, stays close to those lane markers, but we've seen it a lot of times here today. They just don't get a grip on that ice. Dan has to drop his arm just a little bit. Doesn't cost him a lot of time, but 1,000 meters is a sprint, and any little mistake can cost you. This is his 2nd slip, same corner. He's on the inner. This time it's a big slip. He puts that right leg down, it slips away, he has to bring his left arm down. We saw that before in his 500 meters, but he's able to regain his composure and continue on.
Eric, how can Dan Jansen slip twice and still break a world record?
Well, that's why Dan Jansen is considered one of the best sprinters in the world. He's technically very sound on both the corners and the straightaways. Here's that slip on that inner turn. That right leg just doesn't grip the ice. He has to put his left arm down, catch his balance. He gets that arm back on his back, and away he goes. And this is the last 50 meters as he's finishing up strong. He's trying to regain that lost time on those slips. And the big thing is he's got to skate past that finish line, try to keep his technique right to the very end.
World record, and he knew it as soon as he looked up on that scoreboard. Looked like the crowd knew it before he did. What a relief for Dan Jansen. And he saw his name right now above all the others. And they're all here, including Nancy Kerrigan. Boy, he is soaking it in, and how well-deserved it is. After all of the disappointments, cruel disappointments, really, he deserves every bit of his moment in the sun right now. And there goes Robin. She's out of her seat, and she's looking for Dan now. He wants to go over, but he can't cross. He can't cross because the next pair is ready to skate.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
After all this family has been through, his coach. His dad, Harry. His brother and the rest of his family. What a moment. Final standings in the men's 1,000. Olympic gold for Dan Jansen in world record time. Jelozovsky the silver, Klavchenia the bronze. We'll be back to talk to the new Olympic champion when we return.